This is Swarfcast. I'm Noah Graff. I am very honored to be with Adria and Aaron Bagshaw of WH Bagshaw in Nashua, New Hampshire. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Noah. We're psyched to be here.
Thank you.
I am very psyched to have you. You guys have so many interesting things going on, a lot of different stories to tell. I want to just start by getting a brief overview of your company, and then we'll work off there.
Yeah, I can give you some brief history. So we started manufacturing pins in 1870. A pin like this right here.
Wow.
In Lowell, Massachusetts. We were in Lowell, Massachusetts, manufacturing pins really until late 1940s.
And this was your great grandfather.
Yep. Great grandfather, correct. Yeah. So we are the fifth generation to be manufacturing pins and precision turn parts.
Wow.
So we moved out of Lowell, Massachusetts, 1949. Moved to southern New Hampshire, Nashua, New Hampshire, and we're in that same location. We've been in that same location ever since. So here we are in 2023, and we're still in Nashua. Old mill building, 100,000 square feet. So we have a lot of space.
Nice.
A lot of space to grow. We occupy probably a third of that space and rent out some other space there. But we've transitioned from that pin manufacturing process really to Swiss CNC parts and big precision turn parts. So we're doing lots of new things.
When did you transition into doing that?
Adria is definitely the dates person, the numbers woman.
We brought our first CNC machine in 2005.
2005, and until then, you mainly were just sticking to needles and pins.
Oh my gosh, no, yeah, and we didn't have really to mention any updated equipment. The equipment we had was, goes back to our founding. We've had some cold heading machines, which were relatively new, knurling machines. So we've had some 1960s vintage machines. I guess that was probably some of our newest additions at the time.
For me, that's not crazy.
Yeah.
If you had just stayed with that equipment and that product, would you have been able to survive?
Good question.
If we just stripped out the CNC machines and all of the revenue and opportunities, no. Assuming that had we not gone down the CNC route and had evolved into something else possibly, but the CNC department's probably 80% of our revenue right now, if not more, 90.
Yeah.
But hypothetically, if you just said, this is what we do, we make the greatest needles and pins ever, we have the best reputation, would you have been able to survive, or would all of that have gone to China eventually?
Yeah, no, I think the answer is no. Yeah, we would not have been able to survive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are still making some of the original product, or have you finally phased that out?
We phased it out, but we have been able to convert some of the processing of the pins over to the Swiss CNC machines, right? So the Swiss world in our factory can manufacture some of the pins very well. The lower quantity, higher priced product, if you will, that warrants that type of price point. We're able to do that with the Swiss machines.
Okay. And what products are you making for what industries specifically?
So textile industry, static elimination, so industrial, medical, aerospace. So the big ones are there. Yeah.
How did
That makes
you
sense.
did you always plan on going into the business, Aaron?
Which, the CNC business or
No, you
just
just joining
the family
Bagshaw.
business? Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, there wasn't. I mean, there wasn't any pressure to be in the business. So I guess that allowed me to really get into the niche that made sense for me. So but I had opportunity, right? So I was doing sales at a younger age. Through college, I was calling on customers, understanding what we did and what we did well.
Did you work
And,
there as a kid, like summers and stuff, or?
yeah, I would do summer stuff. Really the worst jobs that were there, I would end up doing in the summer. Um, so yeah, it's always been like I said, an opportunity for me.
Yeah, yeah. Were you kind of like conflicted at one point? Did you feel like obligated, kind of, or
Um,
pressure?
no, there wasn't that. I know really bringing in that first Swiss machine for me really allowed us to find a different what's the word I'm looking for? Really a different
Path?
path. I mean,
Identity?
identity. Yeah, identity is really the one. Thank you. That was a good team effort. Yeah, identity, right? Because through that we found the PMPA, Precision Machine Products Association, and it really allowed us to grow into that group of people and the industry. Before that we were, and it's nothing to sneeze at. We were the oldest pin makers in the world. No, third oldest in the world. Sorry, we were
Wow.
oldest in America. But we were a pin maker, right? I mean, that's part of our DNA. But at the point, that's all we were, and I just felt like there was much more opportunity for us to be grabbing.
So that was one
And
of the first. Was that your idea to do it?
well, yeah, to bring in that first machine, I had a stack of prints on my desk, and yeah, I think that we're just throwing these opportunities away because all we can make is this pin right here, right? So, but you think a pin is something completely different than this, right? You're going to send it to the oldest pin maker in America to quote it. So we had a bunch of opportunities that were on our desk. I'm like, we got to try something here, and Citizen was our local dealer, and
That's
they
interesting
were
how you
calling
were
on us.
getting the quotes, even though you were.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I would say at the same time, Aaron knew that we couldn't keep manufacturing a point on a pin the same way on, the same technology from 1870. So he was looking for a machine that could do that economically.
Right.
We really didn't find the
Were
exact
you
thing.
were you in the business at that point, Adria?
Kind of at the crossroads. We met on a blind date in 2000, both of us
Awesome.
in manufacturing.
23 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ironically, my first job out of college was the supervisor of a machine shop. Like, last thing in a million years I would have expected to be doing. I loved the job description and the atmosphere was interesting to me. But just crazy to think that, I met someone in manufacturing on a blind date, and then later, we
Destiny.
started bringing in the same kind of machines that, yeah.
So you were
just really-
doing like CNC machines in the machine shop that you were in.
Yeah, when I was, I was supervising it when I was 22, went on to higher tech departments, worked in HR for a bit, and then got into the sales side. So I was working in manufacturing when we met, but looking at kind of the corporate ladder, totally different path, and didn't, really it wasn't until 2004 we felt like the business was at a crossroads, and he was bringing in an ERP system, and I'd worked with a number of them. So every night, I was giving input and we were problem solving together. And then when our son was born, I really loved the company that I was with, but I couldn't go back in a part-time capacity at my old job. They were going to look for an administrative role. Yeah, it was like,
that was the next question I was going to ask about, working together. My grandfather we're like an 80-year company, and my grandfather passed a rule. Maybe it was, I think it wasn't like actually a written rule, but it was the no wives rule.
Yeah.
Um,
No wives in the business. Not that you couldn't have a wife.
Correct. Eventually there was a wife that came in, and it wasn't the best result.
Yeah. Right.
So
I call it, I always say I'm the muggle.
The muggle, like in Harry Potter?
Yeah, like the non-magical, like I'm not a purebred. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, or the mudblood, as the snobby bad wizards call them.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is we're looking forward, and thinking about whether our kids might want an opportunity to run the business, if they'd want to be involved. You worry about that, and you've only got 2 shots. And then it occurred to us, right? We've got 2 kids, but it was through chatting with Chelsea and Parrish from DeCruz Manufacturing.
Right, right.
He married into the business. I'm like, wait a minute. We've got 2 more opportunities, assuming they find a mate and get married. Maybe they'll have some business acumen or want to get involved.
Right. True. And as I had mentioned in our preparation, in Japan, they have the most family businesses, the most generations, 10th generation business. And it's
through adoption.
Through adoption. They'll have like a protege who's working at the business, who's like being groomed, and then they officially adopt him.
Yes. I mentioned that on a podcast on Tuesday. We had that discussion. So
did you give me credit? It's okay.
No, I didn't.
Maybe not by name.
It's okay. I learned it from Freakonomics. So whose podcast were you on?
That was
a local. So we have 2 business publications in the state, and our favorite one is Business New Hampshire Magazine, and they do one called BizCast NH.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So remember like one of our first dates, we went to the factory and I was on the scooter.
Yeah.
And you were like, "Oh my God, this is crazy. This guy's on the scooter going through the factory."
Yeah. Well, I'm in charge of safety.
Oh, you were in the scooter, like going through the factory on the scooter because you have a huge place?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Wear your safety glasses, stay in the lines.
This was after hours.
Yeah, I know. Still.
You're like, if I ever work here, this ain't happening.
Right.
Well, I feel like it would be neat to work with my wife in some kind of business. Obviously it all just depends on your relationship and your personalities, and it sounds like you guys have carved out your own roles.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and our skills are really complementary. I would analyze things so much I wouldn't do anything, and Aaron maybe would go too fast jumping into things, so we balance each other out that way. We've just automatically learned over time that if I'm down, he's got to pull me up, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can't both go off the deep end at the same time. We've also talked about this with a lot of other couples who work together. Those little things that get on your nerves and fester, you can't afford to have that happen. So it really forces you to work through minor conflicts quicker and just not get caught up in the petty resentments that can build up in a relationship, because you got to work together.
Interesting. So one thing makes it stronger.
Yeah. And, I think I'm not in every marriage, but in a lot of marriages, one spouse may feel resentful if the other one's working a lot or having to travel, and like we're completely on board supporting one another with workload, and sometimes he's busier and I do more at home and vice versa.
And we're both CVOs.
What's a CVO?
Yeah, so I'm the Chief Visionary Officer. And Adria is the Chief Validation Officer.
Interesting. Tell me more about what you just came up with these titles yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, back, God, I think in 2010, 10, 15 years ago.
So, I'm just kind of reiterating, what Adria said, right? I mean, so I'm kind of thinking about things up here and going after things that may not be, you know, necessarily something that needs to be done right in front of us. So I'm strategically thinking, and I'm thinking 3 machines ahead,
Right.
and Adria is, wanting to look at the numbers as far as validating.
Yeah,
the
you
purchase.
need both. You can't have one. You can't have 2 of the same. Otherwise,
Right.
yeah, it wouldn't
Yep.
work.
Yep.
Yep.
So that kind of brings me to another thing then, since you're talking about, vision, et cetera. You guys have done some acquisitions recently, or
Yep.
Big and small.
over the last few years. Give me the
Yeah.
rundown of a few of those and how they happened, because as you know, this is something we're really interested in now at Graff-Pinkert is M&A stuff.
Yep.
Yes.
So you want to talk about the?
Which one you want to talk about? So
Well,
going
do them all quickly.
Yeah,
So back in-
give me a quick overview, and then maybe we'll talk about the most recent one.
So when did we get the machines? And I always joke that we got 2 employees.
Yeah, that was
Probably 7 years ago.
7 or 8 years ago.
A local company wasn't making ends meet, came in and talked to Aaron, do you want to buy our machines? We took the customer list, but it didn't pan out. There's a reason why things weren't working out for them. So we got equipment at a great price.
So it just became an asset.
Yeah, didn't buy their employees, of course, but we offered them job sight unseen because it was apparent to us that they were worried about making payroll. So we just took them on, and they've been 2 of our best hires. We adore them.
Employees and machines, not too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, even if there aren't jobs, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Right, and that was really being at the right place, at the right time, right? I mean, there's some luck in there. We were literally a stone's throw away from this shop, so he could literally walk up to our front door and knock on the door and say, "Hey guys," and that's basically how it went down.
Yeah, but it's on you. You guys, I'm sure, had a good relationship, and that's
right.
And that's
really
really
it happened. Wasn't
attributable to Aaron and who Aaron is.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And then in 2017, we bought Minnesota Ice Pick. So we'd been making the blades.
The pick.
The metal part.
They had been outsourcing to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was sourcing the blade from us, handles from Maine, and shipping them to the Midwest. Literally just had a contract shop putting them together. And then he had them all going to a storage facility, and he'd go fulfill orders a couple times a week. So he was ready to fully retire and get out of that just, little side job. So we bought rights to that, the equipment, the inventory, whatnot. It's been great filler work. So if any of our employees are slow, if a machine's down, they can pop over there and just make ice picks.
So what kind of machine do you make that on?
All custom made presses.
Yeah.
Assembly machines. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting. We just got a $600 order or something for Liverpool, England.
Yeah, most of them go to Mexico.
Yeah.
Ice picks in Mexico. I guess they need a lot of ice cubes. So
yes.
Yep.
So it sounds like what you're saying is certain employees working on like the Swiss machines, for instance, would then be able to go and work on they
typically can hop on a different Swiss. It's more been in our pin group. If there's a knurling machine down or in setup, they'll hop over there. Right.
But I guess what I'm asking is, are your employees able to work on all kinds of different machines?
Yeah.
That's really good, because a lot of people, they're just like, oh, no, these guys are this. We don't want to. They'll just fight me if I try to make them work on this other, even if it's a Swiss machine, if it's another brand, they're afraid that. It sounds like you guys are sort of past that.
I mean, even on our floor, we have Citizen, we have Tsugami, we have Hanwha. So, I mean, we have just on the floor, and then we have a Doosan or a DN Solutions.
And everybody feels good about running everything.
Yeah, I mean, they all welcome the opportunity. We don't
really
have
good.
Cross-train on everything, but people recognize that as an advantage and something desirable.
That's really good. Good for used machinery dealers too, who like have one kind of thing, and it's
Right.
like, how about this? We don't have
Yeah.
a citizen.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so so it was a really positive experience for us. And where so many of our parts are obscure and hard to explain where they go, I think our employees love being able to explain that, we make ice picks. So we
Mm-hmm.
had the opportunity going on 3 years ago to buy a wood lathe. And we're like, no, we don't need wood lathes, but why are
Mm.
you selling your wood lathes? So we dug in a little bit more. It was our son's pitching coach. He was making baseball bats in his garage and needed to get out of that business to focus more on coaching. And
All
we
right.
thought,
So
well,
tell me about this. What is this?
yeah,
He had like a very small business with one wood lathe, and he was selling the stuff locally, or how was that?
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Literally in his garage is where this was set up.
And I thought, how hard can it be? We're already doing the ice picks. What could be, what could be so hard about that?
And then what did you find?
We found that there are so many variations, models, weights, lengths, colors. So
Hard to get wood.
yeah, wood became very hard to get. We opened the business in the spring of 2021, right as like wood became scarce and the prices went crazy.
Yeah.
So we learned quickly, and we had to make a decision quickly because there were orders that needed to be fulfilled.
Okay,
And it's
so he had a business that had some customers already.
yeah,
He had the equipment, just one wood lathe, I assume,
Yep.
or and
yeah,
so
and then
yeah.
some other equipment for sanding and
Painting.
engraving, and yeah.
So
I mean, he had the whole process, right?
He had the whole
from
process.
raw material to finish.
And then
bat.
did
Yeah.
he teach you the
Yeah.
process?
Yeah, he came in, we bought the business from him, and he came in and, shared his process with us and how he did it. And, we've been fine tuning it ever since.
Very
But,
interesting.
we have 3 different ice pick models, and I thought we'd have, a dozen bat models. We do stock some, because those kids are like, hey, Mom, my bat broke last weekend. I forgot to tell you, and I need one for the tournament tomorrow. And we get a lot of emergency calls. So we do keep some in stock, but a lot of our business is a team order where they'll say they want this model and this weight and this style. And we do a lot of individual orders, a lot of trophy bats. So they're,
I
highly
got a zillion
personalized.
questions about this. So
Yeah.
You do? Here's one.
oh, nice.
I mean, just a
Nice.
beautiful.
Everybody watching this, you're gonna have to tune in to the social media or the full thing.
So
And
really,
it's called what's on there?
Walter Bat Company. So a cool little story on that. The W.H. Bagshaw Company, our parent company,
Mm-hmm.
was founded by my great-great-grandfather, Walter Henry. So this is Walter's actual signature from 1878 when he signed his naturalization papers. So we use that as the logo for the bat company.
Very interesting. I was doing some research before this, and I went to Louisville Sluggers site.
Yep.
I believe their first bat was created in 1878.
Isn't that great?
How interesting is that?
That's very interesting. So this is one of our most popular.
Nice. It's an American flag bat.
Yeah, the Uncle Sam. And this one, just whenever this one comes out, people are like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me with this bat? This is amazing. Yeah.
So I mean,
That's
they're
beautiful.
beautiful. Like they're well crafted, but we've gotten awesome feedback from people using them in terms of, how they're hitting with them. We've had them tested against other models with velocity gauges and whatnot.
Well, so my impression was that most of the people the main people who used wood bats are professionals because the amateurs just want to use metal bats. Am I incorrect there?
So there's a tremendous amount of wood bat usage in the summer across the United States in collegiate summer leagues. So all collegiate baseball players primarily are playing summer ball after their school season ends. they're playing in these summer leagues. The Cape is a big one. The Cape Summer League is
It's
And
huge.
an
they use
elite one.
wood. They use wood bats, not
They
metal.
all primarily are using wood bats. So
What about in regular college baseball?
no,
That'll be metal. Isn't
right?
that weird?
That'd be metal. So for some reason, these collegiate summer leagues are using wood bats, and then even with travel teams with teenagers, they have summer bat tournaments, summer league tournaments with wood bats.
And fall leagues often will be wood as well.
Yeah,
That's
so it's just an
interesting.
interesting dynamic. Yeah,
So it's just certain seasons they decide this is a wood bat league.
yeah,
Really?
interesting.
Yeah, I had no idea. Have
And
you? Yeah.
here's a fun fact. One of our business friends in Minnesota actually is in a softball league, and we're asking him about Shopify and how to, set up for retail.
Yeah.
He said that they are moving from metal to wood for a softball league because it's reducing injuries. The difference between hitting
The speed of the ball coming off the bat on aluminum versus wood.
Oh, you mean it's reducing injuries for, say, the pitcher who's
Yes.
could take his head off?
Yes. Yep.
Very interesting.
So a lot of adult leagues for men and women are moving to wood as well.
Yep.
Wow. So, okay. So you clearly, you have the elephant in the room, the big competitor, Louisville Slugger.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And
where do you come in? I mean,
so we're this little boutique, bat company where you're really able to, you could come and you could swing the bat at our facility. You can order it specifically how you want it. You could paint it like the Uncle Sam bat, or you could paint it whatever you want.
and
So
you can't do
have
that with the
ability-
Louisville Slugger if you're just a normal average person.
Yeah, no, you're going to get a standard bat.
Okay.
So what we've loved is working at a community level. We've always tried to get out with our main manufacturing company to, talk about manufacturing and how great careers are and share our story. But when there's a golf tournament or a community event, we're not going to set a table up and look at our pins and needles that we sell. We can get out there in the community with Walter Bat, and it's been a really great way to bring kids in. You bring a field trip through and show them the CNC machines, and it's not always very intriguing to them. But when you show them the bats, they understand that. They can see the billet, see how it goes through the steps. It's tangible. It's a product they understand.
Absolutely.
And then they understand the basics and the concept and the mechanics of forming. And you bring them over and show them how it works over on the other side to make medical and aerospace parts, and they get it a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sort of been fascinated by cross training. Like there's this book I always talk about. It's called Range. It's by a guy named David Epstein. It's about people who have one job and then they use those skills for another job, and it makes them strong, their brain stronger. So they go into this other job and it's like their muscles are already developed. He did one about also called the sports gene, where they showed how athletes, like the Jamaican bobsled team, they became so do you feel like are your employees from the CNC machines also making the bats? Did you take the same people and you use the talent?
A little bit of crossover. I mean, it's really a fledgling business. I mean, we're just in our second year. But the idea is, as we grow it, we'll be able to cross train and move people in and out. But, like machinists are so hard to find right now. So we're not going to pull a highly skilled machinist off to sand bats or.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but I mean, with just yourselves, as far as running a company that running a manufacturing company, you guys already came in with a certain skill set, would you say?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so no, we're making, hundreds of bats, not thousands of bats, right? We have one lathe. One lathe can make a bat in 3 minutes. So, we really can burn through a bunch of bats quickly. So when we get to those next levels, right, where we're making thousands of bats, I would see, just like what we're talking about, I would see folks coming over, from the Swiss world to run, 100 bats and then go back over to this. So that will happen eventually, but we're not there yet. But
are you dealing with sourcing the different kinds of wood and
Yeah, we're in the
preparing
right
the
place
wood
for it.
and
yeah.
Yeah.
how much of it is outsourced versus like vertically integrated?
So all of the billets, the raw material for the wood is New England based.
Oh, cool.
Some in northern New York and some in Quebec.
Give me the brief process of taking the tree, and I was reading about it online, like there's only a certain amount of the tree that's even
Right.
good
So
enough.
you don't take the center of the tree, you take the outside of the tree, right? So you're taking the outside of the tree, and you're getting that chopped and you're getting that cut and you're getting it shaped. When we get it, it comes to us in a round billet. So almost like bar stock, if you would, going into a bar loader.
Exactly what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on.
So we're getting that in maple and we're getting that in birch.
Birch. What are the other ones that are theoretically possible for bats?
There's some ash, but there is a lot of the ash trees have been decimated by the ashbourne beetle, who's eaten all these ash trees around here. So it's very difficult to get ash anymore. So birch came in as a replacement, and maple is really the primary raw material right now.
Okay, so you get the bats. You buy the billets.
Yeah, we buy the billets, and then we put that billet after a lot of measuring and weighing, because you have to have the correct weight in order to come up with the correct finished bat. And there's ratios based on the length and based on the finished weight of the bat that you're looking for. So all of that has to get done. Then you put that into the lathe and basically get your right program and turn that bat, that design that you want, that the customer wants. So you turn that out. Then that would go to a sanding process, real quick sanding process, hand sanding, very tactile. So you're getting a really nice, beautiful finish. And then it would go to paint and then laser engraving. And then
you have all that in your place, the painting.
It's all in-house. Yeah. That's all in-house.
Good, bad, or indifferent. One of the factors that we have to work with is we're in a really old mill building. We've got a ton of space. We'd love to be in a more modern facility, but we have what we have.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a great location in downtown Nashua. We've got a lot of space. So instead of, lamenting over the wasted space, we found great ways to use it.
Very interesting. And so will you do custom made bats for you? You said you can go and you can say, I want X length, width.
Yep.
I want this design on it, and you guys will make a custom bat for somebody?
Yes.
Yeah, we've done a lot, for graduating seniors. They'll get, it painted with their school color, their logo, the school mascot. And then they'll also add, the player's name, number, and all that. We've done a lot for business people. They're great for awards. So, it can be in the company colors. They get an award bat for hitting it out of the park.
Yep.
So a lot of fun.
This is a B2C product, and everything you've done before this has been B2B, I guess.
100%. And that's really, Adria was kind of talked about that a little bit ago, but people, we make it and we ship it and it goes right into someone's hands and they can use it, right? On the Swiss side of things, for all of us that run Swiss shops, everything we make goes into something else, which helps that thing work. And we never really get to see what that is in a lot of cases. In some cases we do, but
there is something satisfying about.
Yeah. We had two young boys come in and they designed their bats, and they were really beautiful bats.
How did they get to design it? Did they design it on the computer, or did they draw it?
I don't know. I don't know if they did it on the website, which you can, or if they did it, in person. But they came in, and when they took them out of, it was like Christmas for these kids. When they took them out of this
It's
packaging in this
awesome.
box, they looked at the bat and they said, "This is the best day ever." I mean, these two little boys were so excited. It was just a magical moment. For me, just being out. We were literally on our loading dock, and they came to pick them up with their mother, and it was this really neat moment we had. But it's you get this. There's this tactile thing that they can either put on their wall because they don't want to hit with it because it's so beautiful and awesome, or they bring it to the game and they hit a home run.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's something really satisfying about having something that's a thing.
Yeah.
Do you, with your marketing, are you doing a lot of like Instagram and a lot of?
Yeah, it's been a really nice thing. We've been able to pull our kids in. So our son is a sophomore at Endicott College down in Beverly, Mass. He's a pitcher. He's been doing some of the behind the scenes work on Instagram. Obviously given us a ton of information and helped. And our daughter's been working in our training center. So last year we opened up a training center with 6 different cages, workout area.
Oh, you opened up a training center for hitting.
Yeah, in our big mill building. So we have a pro shop. We do a lot of events and clinics. A lot of team
fun
workouts. We've got drop-in hours. We've got a membership program, so you can have unlimited drop-ins.
Is this business profitable or break even or?
The bats are getting there, but the training center, not looking at the investment we made, but we're making a profit now on the training center.
The big advantage is we own the building, right?
Yeah.
So it's a big advantage, and it really puts us in a good position to be able to maximize the space and really create a beautiful, beautiful space for coming in and playing baseball and working out and learning and growing and becoming a better athlete.
And for us, it's been great bringing families through, right? So people are on their way up to a camp or a clinic and they're peeking in, like, what's this about? What do you guys do? What's the connection? So
are they paying any attention to the Swiss machines, or are they just walking right past?
They go right by them. They get a glimpse.
There's a little nod over there. Oh, what's that? So it's good.
Is it a distraction from your other businesses?
It's something that we have to balance. I think it's been hard, like a year ago, we had a bunch of turf in the way. Everyone had to navigate while we were waiting, to move the turf upstairs. Our employees have had to be flexible, but I think they're really proud. They appreciate, who can't be behind youth sports. They love seeing the kids coming in and out. Our second shift bears the brunt of that because a lot of our activity up there is at night, but they're super on board, if any of the staff members upstairs need help,
I mean, with baseball is America's pastime, right? I mean, it's just there's just a lot of
energy around it and pride. We've got great merchandise. Another one of our tenants is Mint Print Works, so we've got a screen printing business right on site. So, everyone.
Have you supplied any major leaguers?
No. So the caveat there is
that the holy grail,
right? You have to be MLB certified in order to do that. We are not MLB certified at this point. So if there's any MLB folks out there listening, and you're looking for a good partner with a really good product, you can give us a call. Walter Bat Company.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, is it kind of like getting ISO certified, or?
I mean, there's an expense to it. There's an insurance policy that has to be in place in order for you to be manufacturing and for those bats to be used in gameplay. So there's a few hurdles you got to jump through. So when the time comes, it'll be right for us. So,
but you're supplying college players then for the summer leagues.
So yes.
Yeah. So future MLBers.
Yep.
Right. Well, and as the more you do that, the more maybe. Could you, if you were able to get the certification, could you then like endorse a player and pay them to use your bat? And is this something that you've considered?
Yeah. And we've said it before. It's not something that we are chasing because we want that to happen more organically. Hopefully someone sees our product or hears about our product or hears about us as a company and who we are. And then, that happens that way. So that's what we're kind of
Do you
hoping.
plan to scale like bigger and sell a
Yeah.
lot more and make this a bigger thing?
Yep.
That's really interesting. It's really cool. And so you mentioned this, and it's not nice to talk about people, but we might as well. You think this could be something maybe that your kids might be interested, might capture their interest more in getting into the business?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's given them a way to get involved in the short term. We've made it clear to them that it's an option for them, but it's not an expectation of them.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the more pressure you give, the more it might backfire on you.
Yeah, the more resistance you're going to get, right? I mean, if you just leave that opportunity kind of hanging out there, I think that best way to happen naturally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's hard to read people's minds. Do you feel like part of them is pulled, like they just feel like, well, there's so many generations, I ought to do this?
Right.
I think they feel strongly that the company should stay in the family. They've got great questions. They know our employees. They love, walking through, if they're helping for a day, they know people. And if they don't know people, they want to know who's who. We're having a meeting next month while our son is home from college. We're meeting with a family business consultant that we've worked with before, just to start getting some regularity and structure to our conversation, so they know what we're working on and why. And they have another resource if
really excited for that.
Yeah. We're taking a half day to really have a big powwow about it.
That's really interesting. What is something, I mean, I probably have already answered this question, but anything on the horizon, it's just something that you're just like really itching to talk about, or is it pretty much you've already talked about the most exciting stuff with the bats?
Well, I think for me, quickly, I'll say, we've put it out there that we want to double the size of our business. So that means, we're at 30 Swiss machines today. Is it a straight doubling of 60 machines? Maybe not, but we have the space to grow. I can see a lot of machines in our space, and it looks good. So, I mean, that being said,
how about used multi-spindles?
Right? Yeah. Does that come with a few employees? So, we're putting that energy out, and, we've talked to a few customers and let them know, if they have large opportunities for us, that's our goal in the next 5 to 10 years, is to double our business, double the size of our business.
And it sounds like you're open to other acquisitions too,
right.
Yeah.
That's one of the pathways that we'll be looking at, going down this road.
It's really interesting. Did you have anything to
I
add,
have a plug.
Adria?
So a lot of the time I spent at our annual meeting where we were just connecting, I talked to a lot of other business owners about their state small business development center. It is a free, really, really important resource to small businesses that no one seems to know about. I just was appointed by the administrator of the SBA to serve on the national board for the Small Business Development Centers. Thank you. I'm really, really excited. We've been really, really involved. We've benefited a ton. They obviously help with startups. They obviously help with companies who are in distress. But, just strategically, when you're at a crossroads or trying to pivot or make a decision, implement something new, or just ongoing, we're doing, ours is doing a 3-part series. I'm going to one on diversity and inclusion. Aaron's going to one on cybersecurity, and I forget what the third topic was. But they have great education and resources. So I encourage all of the small business leaders out there to check out their local small business development
maybe we should.
Right.
I mean, we're
a small business. Absolutely should.
They're awesome.
Just a couple other questions. Can you give an example of how serendipity has been important in your life?
Yeah.
Serendipity.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Blind date.
Ooh.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
mean, come on, right? That
And that she
doesn't
was
get.
into manufacturing and
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that, Noah. It doesn't get any better than that.
Well, I don't think anything's by luck. I think, being a good person, networking, being
Yes.
there for other people, like that all comes around tenfold.
What is something interesting that you've learned recently? It could be, like in the last week or last month, just something. It could be just totally random. It doesn't have to be about business. Or...
Real quick, it was Noah, what you said about generational businesses in Japan has really stuck with me. I mean, to the point where I brought it up in a recent podcast, like I said earlier.
I'll try to find the episode to send to you.
That would be great. I would
After
love.
we're off, I'll send it to you.
I would love to listen to that. It's up here. It's staying right up here for some reason, or the front side of my lobe. It's right there. Yeah. So that was interesting.
I'm learning about intermittent fasting and a
topic?
No, I can't remember the word. Autophagy. Yes.
What is autophagy? Is that related to intermittent fasting?
It's a part of it. It's what your body does to like eat up the bad cells. So I just learned about it, and I'm ready to dig in and really learn more.
That's awesome.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. We work really hard at being healthy and try to bring in healthier foods, and we don't have sodas at work, and we try to keep healthy.
Awesome. Do you have anything else to say to the people of the world before we wrap this up?
We would be remiss if we didn't say how much we love our employees. 100%, right? I mean, none of us are doing what we do today without our people. So thank you, people. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh. I always say, we didn't buy the company and put all of our, everything we own on the line because we thought we were going to get really rich and retire young. We did it from a sense of pride and purpose. And it's really about coming into work and making a great opportunity for our employees every day.
I see. So you had to buy it from your family. It wasn't just inherited.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, I thank you, and tell everybody, WH Bagshaw, but where, if they're interested in finding a bat, where should they go? WalterBats.com.
Yep.
Yes.
How much does one bat cost?
Depends, but we can be anywhere from $89 to $200. All depends on what you're doing.
And no desire to get into the metal bats?
Nope.
No, none. But we do also make bottle openers. So there's a really good baseball related gift at a better price point. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats.
Lots of good stuff.
Candles. Yeah.
WalterBats.com.
Awesome.
No, you've been great. Thank you so much.
You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much.